I recently saw It Chapter 2, the sequel to the first It from the 2017 remake, but now they're adults. Anyways, the movie starts off with two gay couples being harassed by heterosexual men with the use of strong derogatory language that may be offensive to most viewers. They also get assaulted and killed by Pennywise, with the bullies getting away with no karma nor payback. Mike starts calling everybody back knowing that Pennywise has returned. Bill, who's still a writer and a husband in the remake, gets the first call. Warner Brothers uses their own studio as a studio. That's either a really clever Easter egg or very cheap of them to use. Eddie, the one with asthma, is a businessman in the remake. Richie is still a comedian. And Ben is a rich lead architect designer. Jesus Christ, he still has that yearbook photo? What the hell, it's been 27 years. Let it go, Ben. Stanley, the Jewish one, commits suicide like the one in the 90s. Beverly, whose wife, leaves her husband. After he gets mad that he finds out that Beverly is leaving, he gets upset and tries to hold her.
Right.
Oh damn, that's not healthy. Or is it? But no, in all seriousness, she did have the right to leave him. We get a scene on what happened to Henry Bowers after he fell down the well in Chapter 1. He lives in an insane asylum where Pennywise is about to help him set free. In the Chinese restaurant scene where they all meet, it was pretty dull. It's nothing but F-bombs and cussing being said way too much that it gets annoying.
Yo, why is it so fucking funny, dickwad? Fuck you! Alright, fuck you, bro.
The suspenseful scene for Stan's message wasn't really suspenseful. It was just meh. It gets worse when the fortune cookies turn into monsters, and I don't mean scary worse, I just mean awful worse. Like, if the monsters were supposed to scare us, when in general, they made me cringe and become confused, and I chuckled because it was really uncomfortable to watch. What the hell is that? That's not even scary, that's just grotesque to look at. It makes you lose your appetite for popcorn or whatever it is you're eating for a snack during the film. Henry Bowers' escape had no explanation. It literally just happened in under a minute with nothing. Mike shows Bill how to stop Pennywise in this long, uncomfortable scene where the special effects had no reason to be used. The gang starts to jaywalk into the streets illegally at 5 o'clock in the morning or something. They pass the sewers and finally make it into the woods at noon. Jesus Christ, that was a long walk. And they go inside a clubhouse that never existed. Mike explains that everybody has to find an item of their childhood memories. Beverly goes to her old home where a nice old lady who lives there welcomes her, but rudely.
Feel free to look around while I get the water boiling.
Oh, really, it's fine. You don't need to do that.
Don't be so polite.
So she breaks her house down for revenge and finds the poem that Ben gives her beneath the walls. This calls for a class action lawsuit. But instead, the lady attacks, and no, it wasn't scary. The CGI was bad, it just made me kinda laugh and roll my eyes to say the original scene was a little better. Richie goes to an abandoned arcade, and face it, if he could do that, then I don't see why anyone else can't. I mean, that's really unrealistic. This abandoned building should have been coded by now. We get then hits from Richie's flashback that he might be gay. And no, his flashbacks weren't scary, it was just bad CGI. Richie meets Pennywise, but it was just another unnecessary added scene. Bill stumbles upon an antique shop where he finds his old bike. How did his bike end up in an antique shop? If it's his property, why didn't he take it with him as he was growing up? He hears Pennywise and wants to warn a kid about him. Ben goes to his old middle school where he gets flashbacks on how he got attacked by another ugly CGI monster. So he decides to hide in the room located in the cliche dark school hallways.
Kiss me, fat boy.
Oh hey, they actually kept that from the original.
Kiss me, fat boy.
Eddie goes to the pharmacy, where funny enough, the same guy from Chapter 1 still works there. That's so cool. Eddie gets a flashback of yet another not so scary scene, it was just really gross, where the hobo guy returns from Chapter 1. Oh Eddie, you always get the worst faith. He manages to escape, but then he has a bigger obstacle, which is the door.
What?
Hush, don't pull you, moron.
Oh, thanks.
Wait a minute. Oh hey! Back at the inn, Beverly remembers kissing Bill, so she kisses him again, even though he has a wife. Bill, you slut! Bill gets a message from Pennywise on how the boy he met will die soon. When Eddie comes back from the inn, he gets attacked from Henry Bowers, but at this point we totally forget about him. He survives, and Henry, who has evil Pennywise powers, survives jumping off a 3-story window and having a knife in his heart. And then Ben remembers getting cut from Henry Bowers. Bill tries to save the little boy that he met earlier on, but bad CGI Pennywise kills him. Bowers attacks Mike and gets killed by Richie at the library. Look at this scene real quick. In the library, it's daytime, but when Bill gets a phone call and his bike isn't surprisingly stolen, it's nighttime outside. What the hell? They go to Pennywise's home.
Well, I love what he's done with the place.
Beep beep, Richie.
Is Beverly Pennywise? I mean, he's the only one who said that.
Beep beep, Richie.
Ben is getting cut, and oh, come on. What is this, Magic Mike? Why am I seeing a guy's six-pack? It's not even scary, it's just hot. Why isn't this movie scary? Oh, that's not even scary, that's just cringingly gross. I hate this movie. They go further into the sewers where the film is dragged in under 3 minutes of an unnecessary return of the bad CGI old lady. They finally meet up where Pennywise was born, so they all burn their memories. Bill burns Georgie's boat, Beverly burns her poem, Ben burns his yearbook signature for that Beverly signed, which he already had in his wallet for 27 years, so I don't know why he went back to the school. Eddie burns his inhaler, Richie burns a token, I guess, and Mike burns a rock from the Rock Throw War. That movie didn't even show anything of him finding his specific memory. But a rock? For all we know, he probably just picked up a random ass rock, while everyone is sacrificing something valuable. Pennywise's final form shows up though, to kill 30 more minutes of this garbage, which each separately simultaneously kill time for. Richie and Eddie stumble upon the 3 doors like chapter 1.
Where's my shoe?
At least 27 years later, they finally found her shoes. Beverly and Ben waste most of their time being trapped until their love sets them free. And Bill keeps talking about Georgie. We get it, they keep milking this, it's getting annoying, we get it, it's not Bill's fault. They all come back to stop Pennywise, but Eddie dies, and they finally kill Pennywise by bullying him and name-calling and teasing. I can't do this shit anymore. The ending was worse than the original one. Ugh. Oh my god, I hate this movie so much. They bully him so much until he ridiculously turns into whatever that... No, I'm done. Look, the house breaks down, they ditch Eddie, they live happily ever after, and no, we don't care if Richie is gay. That is not necessary to the plot story. And that was it, chapter 2. Oh my god, it's over. I really dislike this film, guys. I'm sorry. It's not scary. There were barely any pop-outs. The film just relies on bad CGI monsters. It tries to milk whatever chapter 1 did with killing kids, but that's not scary. It's sinister, but it's not scary. It's sad to say that this film mostly had comedy in it.
Fast she'll go. Been there a lot of years.
She was fast enough to beat the devil.
Most of it came from Richie, which is convenient since he's the funny one, but horror movies aren't there for laughs. They're there to scare you. How did It Chapter 2 manage to turn into a comedy? The movie stretched out for almost 3 hours that you just want the whole film to end. There's nothing good to talk about it. It's like the film itself talks about it in its own movie.
And the ending sucked?
Yeah, it did. I'm sorry.
All due respect, people loved your book. Loved. They hated the ending.
You said you liked the ending.
That was a lie.
Want me to sign it for you?
Nah, I didn't like the ending.
So with all that said out of the way, I give It Chapter 2 5 unnecessary, unscary CGI monster out of 10. I strongly recommend you don't watch this. And like I said for 1990 Part 2, just watch the first one and pretend 2 doesn't exist.